Geez, we had a big committee meeting next door, and we're all tied up in testimony and everything else, so we will try to make it through our agenda here quickly. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Chambers Armstrong. Senator Elkins. Senator Harper Angel. Senator Mays Bledsoe. Senator McDaniel.
Here they are.
Senator Storm.
Here.
Senator Thayer.
Here.
Senator Wheeler.
Here.
Senator Williams.
Here.
Senator Nemes.
Present.
Senator Mills.
Here. We have a quorum when we're duly constituted to do our work. We have at the desk Senator McDaniel, who has Senate Bill 290.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm here today to present Senate Bill 290. If it's okay, I'd like my guests to identify themselves for the record.
That would be great.
Good morning. I'm Mary Elizabeth Bailey, Secretary of the Personnel Cabinet.
And I am Rosemary Holbrook, General Counsel of the Personnel Cabinet.
Mr. Chairman, thank you for the time today. If you'll recall, last year we passed the first update to the state's merit system in 50 years. Last year it was landmark legislation. I would be remiss to note that the tremendous assistance both of the cabinet as well as Senator Mays Bledsoe in undertaking that task. This is more cleanup to that legislation by and large. Senate Bill 290 will require a member of the Personnel Board to vacate his or her position or have the board terminate that position if they separate from classified service. Also allows the Secretary of the Personnel Cabinet to promulgate various administrative regulations for scholarship, internship, educational assistance programs, as well as interview preferences for applicants who complete an internship program. Allows the Secretary to promulgate administrative regs for classified service governing layoffs, furloughs, and reductions of hours, amongst other things. Also permit members and employees of boards and commissions exempt from classified service to employ staff who are subject to the provisions of classified service. And probably the most important thing to me in this, Mr. Chairman, is exempt juvenile facility managers from classified service. Currently, some of the folks who oversee our DJJ facilities are protected under the 18A system, and we're finding that potentially problematic and think it needs to be addressed.
We have a motion and a second on Senate Bill 290. Are there any questions of the folks at the desk here? If not, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Chambers Armstrong. Senator Elkins. Senator Harper Angel. Senator Mays Bledsoe. Senator McDaniel.
Aye.
Senator Nemes.
Aye.
Senator Storm.
Aye.
Senator Thayer. Senator Wheeler. Senator Williams. Senator Mills.
I vote aye. Senate Bill 290 passes with favorable expression, 9-0.
Motion for consent.
Second.
We have a motion for consent and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? This item moves to the consent agenda. Congratulations. Next is House Bill 403. President Pro Tem Meade and his, if he has anyone with him. Nope. Okay. The floor is yours, my friend.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I am David Meade, Speaker Pro Tem of the House. What this bill does is I was contacted by some members on the Real Estate Authority that were with the auctioneers, the appraisers, and also the Real Estate Commission. And they're having a difficult time. A few years ago, you may remember that we consolidated all these under the Public Protection Cabinet, under the Kentucky Real Estate Authority. At the time, there was several of us in this body that raised concerns about that we understood and we knew that this was not going to work properly. And that has since been the case. There is not enough staff nor attorneys to help all those boards and to complete the work that needs to be done. So what this bill does is it splits the Real Estate Authority into two offices, the Division of Real Property Boards, which would be the appraisers, the auctioneers, and the home inspectors, and then the Division of the Kentucky Real Estate Commission. It says that each will have their own executive directors, attorneys, and staff that are appropriate for the workspace that they have. The boards will approve regulations and have input into their budgets. The executive director will then communicate all that information to the Secretary of Public Protection, including written recommendations on staffing and needs to carry out each board's mission. The cabinet must provide the boards with detailed information of the revenue from their license fees and the expenses that they are spent on. This is something that has not been communicated very well for them in the past, so we are just making that clear that it must be sent to that board and inform them of that. Lowered the requirements, this has been a concern for some time, of the executive director. Currently, they have to have 10 years out of 15 years experience as a real estate broker in order to be that executive director. And they're having a tough time finding that. So now what they're doing is reducing that to a minimum of 7 years experience in the real estate industry. And then the boards must provide a 5-day grace period upon the time that their continuing education is supposed to be completed for those who have already started at continuing education, because now we have online courses and things like that, and some folks get started on that but may not finish it right at the exact deadline. But also they have to give 10 days grace period before they cancel someone's license. And the reason for that is because I got a lot of calls from licensees who said, I completed my continuing education on December 31st before the deadline, but since it takes 8 days to get that certificate in, they canceled my license and I had to go through the process of getting my license back. And that is not the board's or the commission's fault. Those commissioners are willing to allow those grace periods, most of them that I've talked to. However, PPC, it's automatically generated, cancels their license, and it's causing some difficulties.
Okay.
Second.
There is a committee sub that made a small technical change. So we have a motion on the committee sub, a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. And what you were speaking of is the committee sub. So do we have a motion on the bill now?
Motion on the bill as amended.
We have a motion from Senator Thayer, a second from Senator Wheeler. Any questions of the committee of Representative Meade? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Chambers Armstrong, Senator Elkins, Senator Harper Angel, Senator Mays Bledsoe, Senator McDaniel, Senator Nemus,
Aye.
Senator Storm,
Aye.
Senator Thayer,
Aye.
Senator Wheeler, Senator Williams, Senator Mills.
I vote aye. House Bill 403, as amended by Committee Sub 1, receives 8 votes in favor and 0 noes, and passes with favorable expression.
Motion for consent.
We have a motion for consent and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? This item moves to our consent agenda. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee.
All righty. Is Leader Rudy in? There he is, hiding behind the pole. We'll bring Leader Rudy up. This is House Bill 443. He's got a couple of guests with him as well. Leader Rudy, welcome to our committee. The floor is yours.
Chairman Mills, senators of the committee, today I bring before you House Bill 443, and if you wouldn't mind allowing my guests to introduce themselves for the record.
That would be fine.
Anitha Sanford, the CEO and Executive Vice President of the Home Builders Association of Kentucky.
Billy Delker, a past president of Home Builders Association Kentucky and current home builder.
Very good.
I am Stephen Rudy, State Representative, 1st House District. As we know, Mr. Chairman, members, senators, communities across Kentucky face challenges in meeting the demand for housing needs and housing affordability. Ensuring that we have enough housing to meet our needs, created by our economic growth, we must make sure that we have clear processes in place that remove any delays and confusion during the planning process at the local level. House Bill 443 threads the needle by accomplishing 2 things: maintaining local control and establishing consistency and clarity for our builders and developers so that they know the rules before going into the development process. Knowing these standards on the front end will prevent increased costs and delays throughout the development process. It is important that we do, however, maintain local control for many reasons, but most importantly, so each community can set the objective, not subjective, but objective standards that best suit the needs of their communities.
Motion on the bill.
We have a motion from Senator Wheeler, a second from Senator Williams. Any questions from our committee for the folks at the desk? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Chambers Armstrong, Senator Elkins, Senator Harper Angel, Senator Mays Bledsoe, Senator McDaniel, Senator Nemeth,
Aye.
Senator Storm,
Aye.
Senator Thayer, Senator Wheeler,
Aye.
Senator Williams, Senator Mills.
I vote aye.
Motion for consent?
Second.
We have a motion for consent from Senator Wheeler, second from Senator Thayer. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? House Bill 443 passes 8-0 with favorable expression and moves to our consent agenda. Congratulations, Leader Rudy.
Thank you, Chairman Mills and Senators.
Next item we're going to bring up is House Bill 137. This is Representative Bratcher. As he's making his way up, we have several things on our agenda, and we're going to try to do some of the hopefully quicker bills here. House Bill 137 is before us, and Representative Bratcher, if you can introduce yourself and your guests.
Representative Steve Bratcher, 25th District State Representative.
I'm Jenny Oldham. I'm the Higdon County Attorney and President of the Kentucky County Attorney.
All righty, the floor is yours.
Basically, this legislation allows for our assistant county attorney to live outside the county. Would you like to expand on that?
Yes, so it's a difficult hiring environment. This would remove the restriction that currently requires an assistant to live within 30 miles of the county line or be in a contiguous county.
Motion on the bill.
Second.
Motion from Senator Thayer, second from Senator Nemeth. Any questions from the board here? I know that I've been contacted by my folks in my district as everybody else is shaking their heads. So, Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Chambers Armstrong, Senator Elkins, Senator Harper Angel, Senator Mays Bledsoe, Senator McDaniel, Senator Nemeth,
Aye.
Senator Storm,
Aye.
Senator Thayer, Senator Wheeler,
Aye.
Senator Williams, Senator Mills.
Aye. Senator Elkins, would you like to record a vote on House Bill 137, which is, thank you. All right. House Bill 137 passes with favorable expression, 9-0.
Can we
have a
put
motion
that-
for consent from Senator Storm, second from Senator Wheeler. All in favor on consent, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? House Bill 137 moves to our consent agenda. Thank you so much, folks. Senator Thayer has a guest he'd like to introduce while we have a little pause.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to introduce my guest. This is William Huffman. He's a fourth grader at Christ the King School in Lexington. If you can't guess, he is the son of Stephen Huffman, who works here in Frankfurt. You can tell the family resemblance. And he wants everyone to know he plans to run for president in 2048.
There you go. There you go. All righty. Senator Higdon is before us. This is Senate Bill 283, and I believe it does have a committee sub we have sent out last night. We have a motion from Senator Wheeler and second from Senator Storm on the committee sub. All in favor of adopting the committee sub, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All righty. Senator Higdon, it is amended by the sub, and it is before us. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. This bill deals with jails, county jails, and I have two outstanding jailers with me here today. Barry Brady to my left, your right, Marion County, and Jason Woosley, Grayson County. This bill would establish a framework for Kentucky Department of Corrections to contract with county fiscal courts and local, regional, and correctional authorities to provide correctional services to state prisoners in jails or regional jails. Contracts must not exceed 24 months and should maintain a per diem rate no more than 5% over the actual cost of services. Contracts must include provisions such as medical.
Motion on the bill.
Second.
We have a motion from Senator Wheeler, a second from Senator Storm. Maybe about 2 or 3 more minutes if y'all want to explain maybe the jailers how this will help you, so we can have a little information.
One thing I want to mention on the fiscal note, it states in there that the state pays county jails to house an inmate $35.34. And it goes over the next page. If you go over it costs, they figure it costs a jail $44.97 to house a prisoner. You know, when I was in the grocery business, when you lost that kind of money on something, you had to get a bigger truck. I don't know what you do. But, you know, our jailers are suffering, and especially these. There's about 20 jails across the state that offer programs, and that's what this is for programs. And, you know, and these programs save the state a lot of money. Like one of the programs is SOAR. You get 90 days credit toward getting out, and that's about $1,350 that it saves the state. So this would allow those 20, 22, or 23 jails in the state that are doing programs that run a great facility and meet all the standards. This is what this is for the state to contract with them, and those that are getting $35 a day and are, you know, we're forcing those folks to do 3 hots and a cot. They can't afford to do much of anything else with $35 a day. So we're doing a disservice to these inmates. These jails at cost to their own county are going beyond the call of duty. So it is a good bill.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. Gentlemen, thank you for coming today, and thank you for all the hard work that you do for your counties and representing the jailers across the state. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Chambers Armstrong. Senator Elkins.
I vote aye.
Senator Harper Angel. Senator Mays Bledsoe. Senator McDaniel. Senator Nemus.
Aye.
Senator Storm.
It's by my yes vote.
You may.
Thank you, Senator, for bringing this bill. This is something we worked on for a long time, and I was on the task force, so I greatly appreciate your effort and all the jailers in the room. Thank you.
Senator Thayer.
Aye.
Senator Wheeler.
Aye.
Senator Williams.
Aye.
Senator Mills.
I vote aye. Senate Bill 283, as amended by committee sub, passes with favorable expression 9-0.
Motion for consent. Second.
We have a motion for consent from Senator Thayer, a second from Senator Williams. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Congratulations, guys.
Thank you,
Very
Mr.
good.
Chairman.
This
Thank you,
moves on
members
to
of
our
the committee.
consent agenda. All right. Representative Bauman, is he here? Well, he's not here. Let's. Is he? Rusty, is he coming? Is he on his way? Do you know? Okay, that's fine. We will call up Senate Bill 259, which is a bill related to the West End Opportunity Partnership, sponsored by Senator Harper Angel. And if Senator Harper Angel would like to stay at her seat, that would be perfectly well. And she has a guest with her at the table as well. So are you speaking in support with Senator Harper Angel? Yes. Okay. Senator Harper Angel, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee. I'm Denise Harper Angel, State Senator District 35 in Jefferson County. I'll let my guest introduce herself for the record.
If you can turn your mic on and pull it forward, that would be great.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Laura Douglas from Louisville, Kentucky. I'm the current interim president and CEO of the West End Opportunity Partnership.
Very good. And just before Senator Harper Angel begins, we do have a couple people that will speak behind her as well. So, Senator Harper Angel, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The West End Opportunity Partnership was created by the legislature in 2021. Senate Bill 259 was drafted after a meeting with Ms. Laura Douglas, the interim president and CEO. And simply put, Senate Bill 259 clarifies KRS 65503 that states the board can determine the process by which they select their members. And I would refer to Ms. Douglas for any questions.
Let me also add, in advance of your questions, that I did have a conversation with Senator Harper Angel, and she agreed to assist. Keep in mind that the West End Opportunity Partnership Board is a public board, and therefore a motion or direction from the board is not necessary to authorize me as the CEO to approach any member of the legislature for assistance. And this, of course, is a principle that's been well established with Kentucky common law.
Very good. We do have a couple of sign-ups that would like to say a couple words here. Mr. Cunningham, I believe. Mr. Is it Burke? Is that correct? Burris. Sorry, I could not read your writing. If y'all would like to come up and speak, and if you would like to either move over or vacate, either way, whatever you're comfortable. If y'all could move forward, and I'll give you about 2 minutes apiece if you can cover that territory in that time, because we also have someone else behind you to speak as well. And thank y'all for being here.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm Raoul Cunningham, President of the Louisville Branch NAACP, and with me is the first Vice President of the Louisville Branch, also Mr. Raymond Burse.
Welcome.
The Louisville Branch NAACP welcomed the opportunity to have a seat at the table of the West End Opportunity Partnership. When requested by the governor, the NAACP submitted the nominee, and that nominee has served with distinction. The NAACP viewed the involvement as the chance to be a part of an effort to revitalize a segment of our city that has long been ignored. Now, there is an effort to do away with the NAACP seat on the board because the representative we selected has raised uncomfortable questions about the board's actions. Repeated requests by the NAACP leadership to discuss the issue with the current director have been ignored. Instead, the interim president has taken the extraordinary step of asking you, the legislature, to amend the law to allow for removal of untitled board seats. Moreover, the request to you was made without the knowledge of the full board of directors of the WEOP. If this bill is enacted, it will deny the NAACP the right to select its own representative and would allow and would demand that we submit 2 names and allow the leadership of WEOP to pick our representative. We ask that you vote no and defeat this bill. We think it is an infringement on the NAACP. The NAACP has been for 110 years a vital source of advocacy in the Louisville community, and we want to continue that advocacy.
Thank you, sir. Would you like to say something, sir?
No.
Okay.
Mr. Chair?
Yes, if you'd like to respond, and then we have someone else to speak.
could I say very quickly that the current statute does give the board the opportunity and the right to self-perpetuate. Under the proposed statute, it's simply an adoption of the bylaws already in place that the board has voted to abide by. Unfortunately, the NAACP has decided, even sitting on the board as a member, they have decided not to follow current bylaws. This is an effort to enforce those bylaws. Let me say as well that nothing in the proposed statute would take away the right of the NAACP to select its representative. It is being asked to send 2 or more names. The NAACP is free to select whomever it chooses and forward those names to us.
Very good. If we could have Mr. Mike Nagel come up. Is it Nagley or Nagel? Nagel. Mike, if you could come up and we could make room for him. Thank you, gentlemen, for your testimony. Mike, you have about 2 or 3 minutes here if you'd like to express your concerns. If you push the green button and pull the mic to you, that'd be great. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Distinguished committee members, I represent the Portland neighborhood on the board for the West End Opportunity Partnership. I'm here today to speak in opposition of Senate Bill 259. It is my understanding that the origin of this bill is the result of a WEOP staff member approaching this bill's sponsor, and the bill's sponsor believing that the WEOP board was both aware of the request and on board with it. This is not the case. The board voted to enact some bylaw changes in September of 2023, and I can only speak for myself, but thought the matter was settled until I saw this legislation was filed. No attempt was made whatsoever to reach out to the board to address this issue or any of the other issues that the bill claims to address, or even to indicate that there were any issues that needed to be addressed. The language in Senate Bill 259 goes far beyond our bylaw changes and allows for the removal of board seats for reasons that I find arbitrary and unjustified. I did email each of you full copies and changes to relevant sections for your review, and I have printouts today if you're in the weeds that much. It is my belief that our staff members should have brought their concerns to the WEOP governing board so that they could be discussed and resolved through the course of our usual work to build and operate this still new and fledgling operation. This board is more than capable of handling these concerns, but it was never asked or given a chance to. It would set the wrong precedent for the Kentucky Senate to get involved in the settling of grievances, especially by setting into law rules that will constrict the organization now and in the future. It is beneath this body to become the arbiter of squabbles or disagreements between staff and board members, or even board members and other board members, especially when those concerns were never brought.
We have a motion from Senator Wheeler, a second from Senator Thayer. Senator Harper Angel, would you like to make any final closing comments?
I would, Mr. Chairman. When this was brought to me, I was told that the bylaws were approved by the board on a vote of 10-2. And I personally don't see why there should be a problem of having 2 or more nominations for a position. So, Mr. Chairman, if it's in order, I move for the committee to report Senate Bill 259 favorably with the expression of opinion. The same should pass.
We have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Chambers Armstrong. Senator Elkins.
Aye.
Senator Harper Angel.
Aye.
Senator Mays Bledsoe. Senator McDaniel.
Aye.
Senator Nemes.
Aye.
Senator Storm.
Aye.
Senator Thayer. Senator Wheeler.
Aye.
Senator Williams. Senator Mills.
I vote aye. Senate Bill 259.
Motion for consent.
Senate Bill 259 passes with a favorable expression 10-0. There's a motion for consent from Senator Wheeler, a second from Senator Storm. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? This item moves to our consent agenda. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for your testimony and for coming out today.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Senators.
Next is Senate Bill 130, which is Senator Southworth as she wheels up here. This item has a sub that was sent out last night. So if we can have a motion to
Motion on the sub.
to move the sub before us. We have a motion from Senator Wheeler, a second from Senator Williams. All in favor of approving the substitute, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? All right, Senator Southworth, this is Senate Bill 130 as amended by Senate Sub 1. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Of course, for the record, I'm Adrian Southworth from the 7th District, Senate. Most of you are familiar with this bill enough because we did pass it last year unanimously. It was not in this committee, however, but we did pass it on consent, and so we're back this year. Most of you have co-sponsored, and I appreciate that very much because
Motion on the bill.
Second.
We have a motion from Senator Wheeler, a second from Senator Thayer. Senator Southworth, a couple minutes, if you'd like to fill us in again.
I guess for the public watching,
Yes.
so they know what we have all moved for. This bill simply clarifies that for public benefits and services, we want to make sure that there's always a non-digital option for those who do not have those accesses, such as computers, smartphones, credit cards, those types of things. It's been really long-standing practice, but it has become more of an issue as technology changes, that people assume that the whole planet has great internet connections, new phones, and so forth. And there's a lot of our constituencies that simply does not apply to. We want to make sure that all of our Commonwealth is covered for all of our people.
Very good. So we have a motion and a second. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Chambers Armstrong, Senator Elkins,
Aye.
Senator Harper Angel, Senator Mays Bledsoe, Senator McDaniel,
Aye.
Senator Nemus,
Aye.
Senator Storm,
Aye.
Senator Thayer, Senator Wheeler,
Aye.
Senator Williams, Senator Mills.
I vote aye. Senate Bill 130, as amended by Committee Sub 1, passes 10-0 with favorable expression.
Motion for consent.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for the consent agenda. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Very good. Senate Bill 130 passes to our consent agenda. Congratulations, Senator Southworth.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, committee.
You're very welcome. All right, our final two items are brought to you by Representative Bauman, and he has a guest with him. We'll let our guests explain. We will, do y'all have a preference which one you speak to first? Okay, this is House Bill 135. Okay, and we do have a couple people that like to speak behind you. All right, the floor is yours if y'all can introduce yourselves.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. My name is Jared Bauman, State Representative for the 28th District.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, I'm Rusty Chris here on behalf of the Kentucky chapter of the National Waste and Recycling Association.
Very good. Welcome, gentlemen. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen of the committee, Mr. Chairman, the purpose of House Bill 135 is to maintain the integrity of the private market in the waste collection industry. There are multiple methods utilized by Kentucky's waste management districts to ensure that solid waste is collected on a universal basis, and one of those methods leaves the selection of waste collection services solely up to the individual residents. This is the free market or subscription service. Waste management districts have an obligation to ensure that universal collection occurs throughout their boundaries, but do not have the right to intrude on the private market by demanding information or private contract customer lists and pricing information. And so House Bill 135 simply prohibits waste management districts from compelling the disclosure of this information.
Mr. Kress, do you have anything to add?
Mr. Chairman, the only thing I have to add, I think Representative Bauman did an outstanding job of explaining it, but there is a policy statement in KRS Chapter 109 that it is preferable for the private market to handle these things and when they're not able to, the government can handle it. All this bill does is ensure that when you're dealing with the private market, that you are afforded the protections that are normally available in the private market, and that is protection of confidential business.
Okay. We have a motion from Senator Williams, a second from Senator Elkins. We do have, if y'all could make room for, we do have someone to speak in opposition. Is it, I cannot read the name, Ernsberger? Oh, sorry, Audrey. Yes, sorry. I saw you last hour. Just a couple of minutes if you want to state your case there. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'll keep this brief in the interest of time. I know it's been a long day for everyone. My name is Audrey Ernsberger. For everyone who doesn't know me, I'm a staff attorney and lobbyist for Kentucky Resources Council, which is a nonprofit, nonpartisan group of lawyers, policy experts, and advocates working for environmental quality, justice, and health across the Commonwealth. Thank you again for the opportunity to speak today. House Bill 135 would shield solid waste management companies from disclosures that would make them vulnerable to competition. And we agree that there are legitimate business reasons for some of the information to remain proprietary. We are a little concerned that this bill does interfere with the ability of solid waste management area governing bodies, or the Section 109 boards, or fiscal courts, in ensuring that all waste is picked up and handled appropriately. We believe that with some revision, these goals could be better served. The Chapter 109 boards were created specifically to safeguard this interest, to ensure universal waste pickup services within its respective jurisdiction, and that the waste management disposal does not occur in a way that pollutes the environment. At the very least, there should be some measure of access to information to ensure that proper waste management practices endure. We believe that an amendment that at the very least allows the Energy and Environmental Cabinet to request the confidential business information, specifically the customer lists, while granting protections from public disclosure under KRS Chapter 61 is appropriate. We believe this would adequately protect the solid waste management service company's proprietary business information and the citizen interest in some measure of oversight to make sure that solid waste management practices endure the way it's demanded in the KRS. That's all I have today. Thank you so much for your consideration.
Thank you for your testimony. We have a motion and a second. Any questions of the sponsor on 135? Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Chambers Armstrong. Senator Elkins.
Aye.
Senator Harper Angel.
No.
Senator Mays Bledsoe. Senator McDaniel.
Aye.
Senator Nemes. Senator Storm.
Aye.
Senator Thayer. Senator Wheeler.
Aye.
Senator Williams. Senator Mills.
I vote aye. Senate Bill or House Bill 135 passes with favorable expression 9-1. And Representative Bauman, if you'd like to come back forward on House Bill 136. The floor is yours. If you can, just for the record, introduce yourselves again.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Jared Bauman, State Representative, 28th House District.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm still Rusty Chris.
Hadn't changed. Okay. And just so you know, there's a couple people behind you to speak as well. So,
thank you, sir. Mr. Chairman, House Bill 136 is another one we bring to you from the House that I'm glad to report passed in a bipartisan manner. And this bill really is going to help bring Jefferson County in line with the other 119 counties in our great Commonwealth when it comes to environmental reporting privilege. So back in 1994, under KRS 224, it was passed to foster compliance with environmental requirements by encouraging internal environmental audits. And depending the outcome of those audits, the companies would be free of civil penalty so long as they did not meet the criteria in Section 2, subsection 8 on page 5 of the bill in front of you. And so we believe that Jefferson County already falls under this statute. It should, but we're just using House Bill 136 to make that crystal clear that Chapter 77 applies under this statute as well.
okay. We have a motion from Senator Thayer, second from Senator Elkins, we have a question from Senator Harper Angel.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Can you tell me if this will adversely affect Rubbertown with the big issues we have there environmentally?
Yeah, it absolutely will not, Senator. Thank you for the question. This bill in no way increases the pollutants that industry are allowed to emit into the air in Jefferson County. In no way increases that. There will be no negative impact. It should promote, as it does in the other 119 counties, good behavior from industry to report issues and collaboratively work to solve them.
Thank you.
Senator McDaniel.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Representative, you're going to have to probably give me a little bit of additional background in this deal because I've not heard anything about it. I'm assuming KRS Chapter 77 allows these air pollution control districts to be set up? And can any county in Kentucky set these up? I mean, what happens here?
I think Mr. Kress wants to answer this, Senator, if that's okay.
Under Chapter 77, actually, there are 120 air pollution control districts. Each county has one. We only have one active one, and that is Jefferson County. How it's set up under the Clean Air Act, the federal government is the predominant regulator on it. They delegate issues to the state. The state, if a local government through an air pollution control district wants to regulate air emissions, then the local air pollution control district takes the place of the state in their county. So it is a triple layer of regulation and oversight.
So this then makes everyone on a level plane. Representative Bauman, I heard your testimony, but how do we have an unlevel playing field right now? Well, if there's 120 of these things.
In 1994, Representative Mark Brown, who was chairman of the House Natural Resources Committee, passed. I can't remember the number of the bill, but it was. I worked on it, and he followed along with EPA policy to promote self-policing under EPA policy. And this is a codification of that because Kentucky doesn't regulate through policy, only through the word of regulations and statutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Gentlemen, if y'all could move away and let, is it Arnita Gadsden? Nope. Audrey Onsberger, if you'd like to come forward. Did you sign up for this? No. Okay. Okay. Here, you're welcome. Yeah. You can come up at the same time, too. That'd be great, if you don't mind. Oh, yes. There's two of them. Okay. All right. Just a couple of minutes each, if you don't mind. We have appointments at 1 o'clock. If you can turn your mic on, ma'am, please. Thank you.
I'm on now?
Yes, you are.
Okay, I'm Arnita Gadsden, and I'm the Kentucky and local chairperson for the NAACP Environmental Climate Justice and the executive director of the West Jefferson County Community Task Force, which is a 501c3 organization, environmental justice for the last 20 plus years. My concern with this bill is not so much the impact of the bill itself should not have an impact if everything is done correctly. My concern is that, number one, when you say it's a health bill, but it's proposed it is proposed that the companies would do their own internal audits of the operation. If they discover a violation of local air pollution, then they voluntarily report it, it will not bring about penalties. My concern is that even with a violation, even if they discovered it, the community is always the one that is the most impacted. And where this representative represents, he really doesn't represent the full community that is impacted by this. We were concerned that the community was not involved in any of the conversation. But the one thing, and I know I'm running out of time, I get nervous when I can't talk a long time. So right now, so the one thing I do want to bring to our attention was that in EPA, in describing its own audit policy program in 2021, under the Clean Air Act, violations are not generally able to be voluntarily discovered because facilities regulated under Title V are required to ensure and certify compliance of all applicable requirements. And that seems like it's kind of hard if EPA has not made that distinction for us to make that distinction. That is my concern, and I oppose the bill. Thank you.
Motion
on the bill.
We have Audrey.
Thank you.
Arnsberger, right?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. You got it right. I won't say my name again. You're probably tired of it, but I will allow my colleague to introduce himself.
My name is Byron Gary. I'm a program attorney with the Kentucky Resources Council. Previous to my employment with Kentucky Resources Council, I worked for Air Pollution Control District in Louisville for about 9 years. I'm only here if there are any technical or background questions. I don't have any independent testimony.
Thank you. Just a couple minutes, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I just want to comment on the substantive legal issue that we believe this bill presents, in the sense that we believe in its current form, it's inconsistent with Kentucky's obligations as administrators of the Title V program of the Clean Air Act, which could eventually compromise Kentucky's ability or delegated status to administer the program. Arnita touched on the audit policy program that the EPA, or the facts in the audit policy program that the EPA cited, but I just wanted to give you some background information on this, this matter in the Kentucky legislature. When this provision of KRS Chapter 224 was originally adopted in the early 90s, it did result in the EPA issuing a notice of deficiency, alleging that it unduly restricted Kentucky's ability to adequately administer and enforce the criminal enforcement, civil penalty, and public access provisions of the Title V program. The notice stated that unless concerns were remedied, the U.S. EPA could withdraw the approval of Kentucky's authority to administer the program. Kentucky did make some statutory amendments. However, this issue was never formally resolved by the EPA. Therein lies the concern that this bill would expand the underlying law and therefore the problems that the EPA has shared in the past. We believe, if this were the case, that the EPA were to withdraw Kentucky's delegated status, it would mean that instead of local inspections and instead of local enforcement, which is preferable both for environmental and industry interests alike, Kentucky would lose delegated status, which would mean that companies needing a Title V permit, whether they're in Jefferson County or not, would have to obtain it through the EPA office in Atlanta, incurring time and money. We do believe that some concerns could be addressed through amendments that would reduce the possibility that this proposed expansion of the privilege would interfere with Kentucky's ability to administer the Title V program, some of which we have shared with the sponsor, but I would just like to reiterate a few. The bill could create a new section to avoid conflict with existing provisions. For example, KRS 77.990 is the penalty section, which plainly states that a person who violates any provision of this chapter shall be liable for assessment by the district of a civil penalty not to exceed $10,000, or requiring public disclosures of violations uncovered through this policy, even if the audit report itself were privileged, which would help with public perception and transparency issues, some of the issues that Arnita so eloquently stated before my testimony. Additionally, you could exclude the legally mandated monitoring, record keeping, reporting, testing, sampling, visual observations, etc., from the existing conditions for prohibiting penalties for voluntarily disclosed violations. There are two sets. The last comment I'll make is there are two sets of definitions that could be distinguished. You could distinguish the definition of voluntary discovery, specifically that the definition should exclude some of the monitoring, record keeping, reporting, testing, sampling already required by a Title V permit, and also distinguish the definition of environmental audit and environmental audit report from the ordinary reporting requirements that's required by permits under the Clean Air Act.
Very good.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your testimony. We have a motion from Senator Thayer, a second from Senator Elkins. Madam Clerk, please call the roll.
Senator Chambers Armstrong, Senator Elkins,
Aye.
Senator Harper Angel, Senator Mays Bledsoe, Senator McDaniel, Senator Nemus, Senator Storm, Senator Thayer, Senator Wheeler, Senator Williams, Senator Mills.
I vote aye. House Bill 136 passes with favorable expression, 8-1. Congratulations and thank you for your testimony.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and ladies and gentlemen of the committee. Thank you.
That gracefully concludes our 9-bill committee meeting. Thank you. We are adjourned.
All right, these two you sign on top.
Yes, remind me next time.